Around? Yeah, wow. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our classroom. This is a homeschool classroom that is designed for to help those out that going through this virtualness. I am a former owner of Successful Angels Private Care and Learning. It's in the business for like 6 years, and I just decided to share some things with you guys. I do have a homeschool classroom right now. You can also catch us on Facebook, where it'll be up under Joy Scripting, Homeschool 2020. Alrighty, we're just gonna get started. We're gonna talk a little bit about capital letters for names and titles of people and pets. There are more videos just like this one. Hello, thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or any questions, feel free to leave them there in the commentary, and I'll try to get to them as swiftly as possible. Kind of got go back and forth here. But again, we're out of Mississippi, and we're just gonna go right on into it. All right, let's talk about capital letters for names and titles of peoples and pets. And I wanted to just kind of show you guys, they get discouraged and thinking that, well, I don't want to move so fast. Well, the thing is, when the homeschool program, the thing is not so much as age and stage, but as far as your abilities and what you can and what you cannot do. So you want to keep on moving up the ladder if you possibly can. I just wanted to show you that the rules are the same, but it just get a little bit bigger because I always tell my peeps, the bigger the value,
the more the worth.
The more the worth. Let's take it on in. We're going to look at level 3 rules right now for this capital letter and names or titles of people and pets. This is our first time going live, y'all. So if it's a little, just bear with us. So the first rule says, begin a person's name or a pet's name with a capital letter. That's the first rule. That's on level 3. Let's go to the second rule. Begin titles of persons such as Mr., Miss, Mrs., Doctor with a capital letter. Now, let's look at another rule right here for level 3. Another rule, capitalize initials that take the place of names. Keep those in mind because we're going to go down here to levels 4 and 5, and we're going to get these rules and we're going to compare them to them and see if they're still the same and see if what we say is true about the bigger the value,
the more the worth.
Now, let's look at rule number 1 for levels 4 and 5. Level 4 and 5, the first rule says, begin each part of a name with a capital letter. Begin each part of a name with a capital letter. Second rule says, capitalize initials used in a name. Another rule in level 4 and 5. Begin a title such as Miss, Mr., Mrs., and Doctor with a capital letter. Now, both of these, level 3, 4, and 5, says always capitalize the word I. Always capitalize the word I. That just goes to show you that it doesn't matter where you see these rules at. They're going to stay the same. What happened is the words get a little bigger, or the way you say things, they get a little bit more of a different kind of a version of it, but it's still all the same thing. And I always tell everybody, whenever you're doing one thing, just continue to take that on with you because what you learn in a lower class, you're going to need it in the class up above it. All right, let's get started up here. This first one says, begin the person's name or pet's name with a capital letter. That means simply, don't need that one. That means if I have a person's name, just say if I have a friend named Bob. This is Bob, right? Bob is important. And we've already been talking about proper nouns and common nouns, but Bob is important. Since Bob is important and he's a proper noun, we're going to turn Bob, this first B right here, it needs to be uppercase. So Bob needs to be with a capital letter. So Bob will turn it to capitalized B, then O, and lowercase b. That's what Bob will turn it to. Now, let's look down here below on levels 4 and 5. It says begin each part of a name with a capital letter. Here in levels 4 and 5, it goes into a little bit more detail. Now it said each part of a name. So each part of a name, that means every part of your name. So here it's talking about your first and your last name. Whereas in preschool, you should have learned this in preschool. when they tell you to write your names on those little cards, your first name, write your last name. That's what you should have learned it at. But here it said each part of your name. So what if my friend Bob first name was Billy? What if his first name was Billy and his second name was Bob? Now, Billy, Bob. Now it says to begin each part of the name with a capital letter. So what we would do is we would change both of the lowercase b's of the first letter of each name to capital letters. So here we would have Billy and Bob. Billy Bob. That would be his name. Now, notice the difference in everything. Everything is still pretty much the same, isn't it? It doesn't matter the level. It doesn't matter the grade. Even if it was pre-K, it's still going to be the same. The rule is not going to change. The rule is going to remain the same. Let's look at this one right here. It says begin titles of persons such as Mr., Miss, Mrs., Doctor with the capital letter. But let's look at this one. Down here, we have the same rule. It says begin a title such as Miss, Doctor, Doctor with the capital letter. Again, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the level, the grade that you're in. It's all going to remain the same. Now, my favorite doctor is, I love this lady here out of Mississippi. Her name is Miss Sylvia. She is awesome. I love her. I love her, love her, love her. So now she's a doctor, so we call her Dr. Sylvia. So that means we would have DRSYLVIA. Okay, remember it says all the titles have to begin with a capital letter. And the same thing goes true down here for levels 4 and 5. It would be the same thing. So what we would do is the D in doctor in both places would become a capital D with an R. Same thing if it was Mrs. So the information here is the same for here as it is for there. It's the same. Can't change it. It's still the same. Now, let's look at this one. The difference here, it says capitalized initials used in a name. Okay, everybody has a first and a last name. So let's look at initials. That's what an initial is. An initial is the first and the last name of the first letter of whatever name it is. It might be a city, it might be a state, but it means capitalize those initials. So let's look at these initials right here. Bob's first initial, an initial is a letter. So Bob's first initial is B. So we're going to capitalize the B, and we're going to put a dot there because there's some more letters to come after it. And then we're going to have another uppercase B. Why? Because it tells us to capitalize the initials in your first and your last name. Such as my name is Joyce Ann Griffin. So let's look at mine. My initial would be J and capitalize the G. The initials in the first name also have to be capitalized. Now, let's look at this right here too. It says capitalized initial that takes the place of names. Capitalized initial that takes the place of names. Now, that's going to be things like Mississippi. Well, we're from Mississippi. So Mississippi is spelled Mississippi. Now, what we will do is we're just going to call it Miss, but we're still going to capitalize the M in front of the Miss. So it will be M and S. A lot of people still do this. As long as the first letter is capitalized, M and S. Still meaning the same thing. Mississippi. Means the same thing. Good old Mississippi. All right. Now, the last one says, always capitalize the word I. Did it say sometimes?
No.
When did it say
always?
Always. Always capitalize the word I. So let's get rid of some of this, and I'm going to show you what I mean. And that rule was on all the levels. That rule is from pre-K all the way up to 5th grade, all the way till you get out of college. That rule is not going to change. That rule is always going to stay the same. So that means that if I see I standing by itself, I'm not going to a dot. Nah, can't just give I a dot, right?
No.
We're not going to just give I a dot. So what we're going to do with the I is we're going to give I some functionable stuff, make him capital, okay? So I here would be always a capital letter. Whenever it's standing alone. When it's standing alone, I will always be a capital letter. And I know you may be asking, well, what if it's in a sentence? Well, let's put it there. And let's see. First of all, let's make it the first letter of the sentence, because you know the rule for that. The first letter of the sentence is always capital. So I am, let's say the 3 word. I am smart. 3 word sentence. I am smart. All right, here, I is capital. It's at the beginning of the sentence. So, of course, the rule tells us to always capitalize the beginning letter of every sentence. But what if I was in the body of the sentence? Then what would we do? What do we do then?
Make a lowercase letter.
Let's see. He and I are friends. Let's look at that. He and I are friends. Here, you see, I here is also a capital letter. Why? Because the rule says always capitalize the letter I. Because I is a word. It is signifying you, me, and even you out there. That's what I is talking about. All of us. He and I are friends. So I, even though it's in the body, because it's standing alone, it's still going to be a capital letter. Now, that's all we're going to have on capital letters for names and titles of peoples and pets. We're so glad that you joined us here. I want you to meet us back here at another time. Hit us up. Give us a thumbs up if you think this video was helpful. Also, we do have some more videos just like that. And remember,
subscribe and hit that notification bell.
And there are billions just like us. So many of us that are doing what we're doing. Homeschooling. Why? We're in this time just like that. So take it away, guys.
There's billions of us. So if a buddy tells a buddy, then that will be a whole bunch of viewers for us. And that will be good. And thank you all. And have a good day. And subscribe.